This is my current project Buccaneer. It's a 1984 or 1985 Gloucester. This is an interesting boat. I picked it up out of Pennsylvania. It's a bit of a project boat. It started off pretty clean, but it had some damage when I got it. Had an undersized boom. The boom that was on the boat was real skinny and bent pretty badly in heavy air. The boat didn't have a rig tension system to speak of. It had a high field lever, which is a well, just an ineffective system for putting tension on the shrouds. The shrouds, these wires here, the forestay tension system. And then unfortunately the mast broke on me at one point. The storm came through, lifted the boat while the mast was up off the trailer, turned it upside down, and bent the old mast. Only bright side of that was I had a spare mast, so this is a mast off of Chrysler, and I used the old mast to make this boom. A couple of key points about this project. I'm using a Harken dinghy vang system. This is about a 12 or 15 to 1 dinghy vang, and then I have a Ronstadt dinghy vang 3 to 1 system for the Cunningham that just attaches to the top of the Harken dinghy vang. The rig tension system for this boat that I've installed is a block and tackle, 6 to 1 block and tackle. There's the bottom. It's attached to the mast with a tang, which is through bolted the mast, and it comes down to a turning block and back up to a horn cleat. I plan on changing out the horn cleat for something else that's a little more adjustable on the fly, but it works pretty darn well. So there's the system. Let me step off the boat. There's the system. Works pretty well. You see that the jib halyard is run internally inside the mast. I found that to be very important because when it was run on the outside of the mast, I got a lot of sideways bending on the mast just due to the rig tension. I would load the rig up while the boat was sitting on the trailer, and the mast would be bent off to port, which I don't imagine it hurt anything, but it looked funny, so I fixed that. So we ran it internally, and now I don't get that so much. Of a salvaged Nichols Buccaneer 18 centerboard that I bought off another sailor, and I've repaired it, reconstructed it. I've got some videos up on how that happened. The mast base, you see I have a piece of PVC board that's over 1 inch thick, serving as a compression post. This bulkhead is way too thin and has no ribs, and whenever I first loaded it up, you'll see there's some buckling here that occurred, so I'm going to have to replace that bulkhead at some point to make it look pretty again. We switched to from the stock 4 to 1 on a fiddle block that had a cleat. There was a cleat on this fiddle block that was the entire main sheeting system, and it went to another fiddle block up on the boom. Now I have triple blocks. Triple blocks are connected to the boom with eye straps. The eye straps are fitted up inside the boom in slots so that they can't pull through. Rivet there. That's the shape of the eye strap actually supports the load, not the rivet. Installed a Harken swivel base, so added these two. Adding the swivel base, that goes from a 3 to 1, a 4 to 1 to a 6 to 1 system. Outhaul for the boat is just a 1 to 1 purchase. I carved a block of nylon to fit underneath the cam cleat so it fits on the bottom of the boom. Put an exit plate. And adding a turning block so that you can pull down and back. I find that the outhaul on this boat, you don't really need a whole lot of, if you got to run cleanly like I have here, it's just a simple sheave. It's a wire outhaul. Actually, I take that back. I have a 2-to-1. There's a pulley inside, so it's a 2-to-1 outhaul. I said that wrong. So there's a inside. So this goes up to a pulley sheave that floats, which is tied to the wire, in the back, and then the end of that piece of line is tied up inside here. Right on the inside, you see 2 rivets. There's another eye strap like this one on the inside that's tied to. So you get a 2-to-1 purchase. The Nichols Buccaneers come with 4-to-1 purchase. I don't think that's necessary. I don't adjust my outhaul very often. I pull on it pretty tight at the beginning of the day. If the air gets light, we loosen it. If the air gets heavy, we pull it a little harder. That's the basics. We added Genoa cars from Nichols with adjustable track stops. Working on getting better hiking straps. These are a set I made. This is just a pool noodle on a rope. It works. It's not perfect, but it works. You can see inside, the Gloucester Buccaneers came with the spinnaker snout already built in them, but the hole was not fitted out real nice, so I spent quite a few hours up inside there sanding that hole. The perimeter of that hole right there was only about that big. Using the perspective, it was about half the size that it is now. So to take 24 grit sandpaper and just work really slowly to cut it away. Just put a piece of 24 grit floor sanding paper on a long stick and just ground it out until I got down to it, and then just started working through finer grades of sandpaper to get it smooth. That's pretty much it for the quick and dirty on my very dirty Project Buccaneer. Get her washed up and start racing this week.